Good evening and welcome to the 2020 Senior Athletic Awards ceremony. I know this is a little different. This is not what we expected or what we wanted. We wish this theater was filled with our athletes as we celebrate the previous year's accomplishments. But COVID-19 has interrupted everything, but it still doesn't diminish from the great accomplishments of the senior athletes of the class of 2020. This year it started off to be a great year. Our cheerleaders had won region and state in competition cheer. We had won region titles in boys and cross country and girls basketball. We had top 8 finishes in wrestling, boys and girls cross country, girls basketball. We made the state playoffs in football, basketball, made state playoffs to the second round in our first year of competition volleyball, and we had also earned points in swimming for the first time in 10 years. We were leading for the Directors Cup for schools in AA by nearly 100 points. And we also had strong performances in the early season of spring sports, looking to contend for state title in baseball, boys and girls track, boys and girls soccer, and boys and girls golf. So we'd like to celebrate the athletic accomplishments of our teams, individual players, and our coaches this year, and it gives us great pride to present the senior plaques. You can see one of the senior plaques in front of us. Each of our senior athletes will receive their plaques for their awards through their career at Vidalia High School. Receiving plaques: Ryan Adams, 4 years football. Chase Alexander, 1 year football, 4 years soccer. Robert Allen, 1 year football, 4 years wrestling. Abigail Almond, 2 years golf, 1 year cheerleading. Annalyn Baldray, 2 years soccer. Tori Bellamy, 3 years football. Justin Bennett, 4 years soccer. Tyler Black, 4 years football. Emma Brady, 3-year football video coordinator. And Kendall Brady, 2 years cheerleading.
Chasen Brogdon, 1 year football, 2 years wrestling, 4 years cross country, 4 years track. Keandre Brown, 3 years football. Tadea Burley, 1 year softball. Reed Cade, 1 year cross country, 4 years soccer. Marley Cabral, 3 years tennis and 1 year volleyball. Tatum Calloway, 2 years cheer, 4 years soccer, and 1 year volleyball. Sydney Coggins, 1 year cross country. Mara Collins, 1 year cheerleading. Tanaya Cook, 4 years softball, 1 year track manager. And Tavion Corbett, 1 year football.
Miguel Cruz, 4 years soccer. Jamarcus Daniels, 2 years soccer. Mason Davis, 1 year football manager and 4 years tennis. Felicity Day, 3 years cross country and 1 year dance. Brendan Dooley, 2 years soccer, 1 year football. Sean Edwards, 2 years basketball. Trenton Folsom, 2 years cross country. Deanna Glisson, wrestling manager for 4 years and golf for 4 years. Adriante Hall, 4 years football, 2 years track. Kiasha Harden, 1 year cross country.
Tatiana Johnson, 1 year dance. Mahogany Johnson, 4 years softball, 3 years track, 1 year basketball. Josiah Jones, 2 years basketball. Khalil Jones, 1 year wrestling, 4 years track, 3 years cross country. Travion Jordan, 1 year basketball. Jakari Matthews, 3 years soccer. Tyler Maben, 1 year football, 2 years baseball. Taylor McClendon, 2 years baseball manager, 3 years softball. Xavier McClendon, 3 years basketball. Adam McLeod, 3 years basketball.
Lachey McCoy, 3 years cheerleading. Jesse McCray, 4 year track, 3 year cross country. Markevius Mitzi, 3 years wrestling. Mitchell Moore, 2 years swimming, 1 year track, 1 year cross country, 2 years tennis, and 1 year volleyball. Anthony Murphy, 1 year 1 year baseball, 4 years basketball. Haley Newell, 4 years wrestling manager. Grayson Osborne, 3 years baseball. James Outler, 4 years football. William Page, 4 years track, 1 year cross country. Sarah Kate Palmer, 4 years competition cheerleading.
Demaria Parker, 1 year basketball. Markel Parrish, 4 years track, 3 years cross country. Abby Phillips, competition cheer, 4 years. Ayanna Phillips, 2 years track, 1 year softball, 3 years basketball. Erica Poole, 4 years softball, 1 year baseball manager. Cole Register, 1 year football, 4 years cross country, 3 years swimming, 4 years track, 1 year esports. Joseph Renteria, 1 year wrestling, 4 years soccer, 1 year cross country. Jadea Rhymes, 3 years soccer. Dawson Ricks, baseball, 4 years, 3 years football. Spencer Ruff, golf, 2 years, basketball, 2 years, and track, 1 year.
Devontae Sampson, 1 year wrestling, 2 years football. Madison Sharpton, 3 years cheerleading, 3 years competition cheerleading. Celie Shiver, 2 years golf. Hannah Sykes, 4 years soccer. Braden Smith, 1 year volleyball manager. Faith Smith, 3 years basketball, 2 years track. Taze Stewart, 3 years football, 3 years track. Shaden Tippett, 1 year football, 2 years track, 3 years swimming. Madison 2, 4 years competition cheerleading, 1 year cheerleading. Mason Torrance, 3 years baseball, 1 year tennis.
Anthony Walker, 1 year football, 2 years baseball. Lyric Wardlaw, cheerleading, 3 years. Mark Wardlaw, 4 years basketball, 2 years football, 1 year track. Malacia Watson, 1 year dance. Unique Washington, 1 year track. Caden White, 1 year wrestling, 1 year baseball, 2 years soccer. Jariah Williams, 1 year dance. Tanaya Willingham, manager basketball, 1 year, track, 1 year. Kylie Wiggins, competition cheer, 2 years, soccer, 1 year, and Ethan Wright, soccer, 4 years.
Congratulations to all letter winners of the class of 2020. We'd also like to recognize some individual awards at this time. Presented in the fall, the Wendy High School Heisman goes to a male and female athlete who exemplify scholarship, athletic ability, and also community service. This year's female winner was Tatum Calloway. This year's male winner was Cole Rester. The Dooley Athletes for a Better World Scholarship recognizes outstanding students for citizenship and community service. The female recipient is Madison Toole, and the male recipient is Adam McLeod. The Southeast Georgia High School Soccer Scholarship Award goes to a player who demonstrates sportsmanship and has a positive attitude. This year's recipient for Southeast Georgia was Vidalia High School soccer player Reed Cade. The Georgia Athletic Directors Association also presented this year's Region 2AA Athletic Director of the Year to Coach Chuck Reed. Coach Reed was greatly missed this year, but his legacy at Vidalia, particularly in athletics, will be felt for many years to come. His influence on our coaching staff and students will be felt for years to come, and we're thankful for the years we had with Coach Reed and for his family. The Coca-Cola Scholarship is presented each year to the male and female student who earns the most competitive letters in each sport. The female recipient this year goes to Mahogany Johnson, who earned 8 letters, 4 in softball, 3 in track, and 1 in basketball. The male recipient goes to Cole Rester, who earned 13 letters. He earned 1 in football, 4 in cross country, 3 in swimming, 4 in track, and 1 in e-games. Congratulations to all students. Well, we look forward to getting back with you in the fall. Underclassmen, make sure that you pay attention to Google Classroom. There will be some announcements coming up about getting together and starting our summer conditioning. We ask that everybody stay safe, and God bless, and have a good evening.